go big toe to heel. We're going to make sure that the heel hits the rail. A lot of times when we step, the heel has not hit the rail, and we go ahead and step forward. Now my weight is not on the carving rail. So we want to make sure that the heel hits, the actual weight hits the heel before we take our step forward so that we keep that carve going.
Yeah, but you'll feel it. You'll know when you don't. Every time you don't do it, your butt will be overboard. But if you do it, you'll feel the board carve on around.
Well, and you can practice this in the light wind. It's the same as our tack, really. The only big difference between tack and jibe footwork is if the foot goes in front or behind. But for the most part, if we're trying to keep this board carving, or if we're trying to keep the board flat, it's the same. So in our tack footwork, we've got our front foot in front of the mast. We've turned our foot slightly towards the back. We step big toe to heel, 5th position. Right, and then we take our step back. In our pivot jibe, we've shifted weight to the back foot. We take our front foot. We take the big step back, big toe to heel, right on the center line. Take a step forward. When we're carving, we're going to do that same thing, just we're going to do it offset.
Yeah, I didn't think I'm doing that. I have no conscious recollection of what my feet are actually doing. I mean, they're moving, but I don't know.
Right.
You probably don't like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get my feet squished fine, but if I was going to tell somebody what I was doing, I had no clue.
Right.
Wait, you're 6 o'clock.
Sail along 3 and 9. Every day of sailing is a great day of sailing. The first turn is what? Everyone knows this one. Downwind. So we turn off downwind. Downwind turn is toe side.
Okay, yeah.
Downwind, we're carving on our toes, toe side. As we approach downwind, just before downwind, take our front foot out of the strap, and we're going to transition to heel side. A lot.
And what's your mast? Where's your mast right now? The mast is on the other side of the board. That's when I say transition. I meant is where the mast's on downwind side. Okay, so
to the inside of the turn.
Inside the turn, right? Okay, so then
the clue is pointed at 12.
Right.
The mast is pointed at 6.
And then you as you come about, the mast goes to the other side at some point in time, and then that's when you transition your sail.
No. That is probably one of the biggest misconceptions. Our mast doesn't go to the other side. Our board carves underneath our mast.
Right, gotcha.
So if I'm going really fast and I'm going downwind, Heinrich is here, my apparent wind.
Right.
I've got tremendous apparent wind, and I move my mast to the other side. What happens?
Well, you get downwind.
You get backwinded.
Backwinded.
Yeah.
So now I've got this ton of apparent wind, and I've just thrown up the big e-brake. So any chance of me carving through here with better speed is gone.
Yeah, so I was talking about when after the sail goes light, then then I transition. That's what I kind of meant.
But we are never going to let the mast or let our arms cross the mast. I would rather you think about keeping the sail on the same plane.
Got you.
So that now my clue is at 12, my mast is at 6. We're going to take our sail and we're going to slide our sail forward towards that direction or towards the direction of our carve, leaving our sail mostly at 12 and 6. As we transition to our heel side carve, we're going to carve the board underneath our sail to where we would be.
Sail in this position.
To be where we would be, clue first sailing.
Yeah.
Now, if you could do that with the sail off, that would be tremendous. Chances are you're not.
Okay.
But if we try that, now we have just a little bit of power. We can actually feather the power and be easy. But if we tend to cross the mast,
Which I do, yeah.
we tend to actually have, now you see a lot more sail. I have a lot more pull. We end up losing our sail a lot easier. So I would rather you keep the sail mostly off, trying to feather the power and carve underneath, than you thinking about moving this sail.
That's my mistake right there.
Yeah,
If we can do that, we can feather the mast and actually start to power up. So it's not even bluffed, but it's appropriately powered.
Windsurfing video I've watched.
were explaining to us two turns. So we went, first one was downwind, and then
The
we
first
went
one
up
is downwind.
Toe side. First
Right,
one's
toe side carve downwind. We slice our sail forward towards the nose. We take our front foot out of the strap and place a big toe to heel. As we do that, this whole board has been carving. So now I probably reached dead downwind. As I've reached dead downwind, all my weight has hit that carving rail. All the weight's on my carving heel, and as all my weight's on my carving heel, I'm taking my step forward. I am carving the rest of the way on my heel. Where? Am I going downwind anymore?
You're on the broad reach line.
Yeah, but where was I carving?
We're carving. We're carving.
Upwind or downwind?
We're carving down.
So you're already past it and going back up.
Going upwind. The second turn is upwind. Right? Technically, when the stern of the vessel crosses through the eye of the wind, we're done with the jibe.
Okay. So you're on that.
But to sail away from this thing, we have to make a turn probably somewhere upwind. So the first half is downwind. Everyone's really good with that. But then we have to have our upwind turn really trying to sail away from this. Whether you're carving underneath your flip, whether you're sailing blue first back to upwind, we have to make that turn upwind.
So you guys would say with the wind clock, which I've never used before, you'd say at 6:01